Hello Masters and welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the prong 2 of these kind of like secrets to an adult perspective that helps us expand, but also help us to feel better in this life just in general all the time, right? So in the last video we were talking about that unconditional love feeling. And again, the more you're practicing that, the better your life is going to feel just how it is right here, right now. And no, it's not going to mean you get so distracted that you don't fix the things that need to get fixed. And no, it's not going to mean that it takes away all the pain of the things that are actually harmful or negative in your life. That's not how love works. When you're connecting to love and you're connecting to this feeling of being worthy and lovable and approved of at all times, it's going to make your life feel better day to day. I guarantee that. There are going to be some things that you were seeking and that you were chasing and that you thought you had to do and become and step into that you're going to realize you don't. You were chasing it because you thought it would make you lovable, but now that you feel like you're lovable, it's not actually a result that you want. It's not actually a thing that you need. You were chasing it because you thought it would make you happy when really what you wanted was love. And now that you're having that, you realize this middleman thing that you were chasing, you don't need that. So that is definitely going to happen. The more we practice this, I just love myself, and then I'm connecting to that feeling of love, that greater feeling of love that none of us can put words to. Because again, I believe in a love outside of myself. I believe in a connection to something greater than myself. And it's not always that it gives me answers and it tells me what to do and all these, like, a lot of the time, it just makes me feel like, okay, I'm good enough and I'm worthy and I'm loved and maybe I'm still in pain and maybe I'm still confused and all of these things, but it's not as bad as I thought it was. It's a part of my journey. And also, I don't need to do all these things. I don't need to chase the things I thought I needed to chase. Life is simpler when we can feel the state of love more and more often. And then again, right, we can admit fault, we can admit being wrong, we can start to see things that we weren't seeing before, and none of it means we're a shitty person, and none of it means we're disconnected from love. So all of this practice, it just makes everything feel better in general, and you're still going to feel the pain of the things that are out of alignment. You're still going to feel the pain of the things that are out of alignment. You don't have to worry that it's going to numb you out and then you'll never have the life you were supposed to live because you just felt good enough and then it made you give up on everything. The opposite is true. When you're really feeling like you're good enough and you're worthy and you're loved for who and what you are right here, right now, those things that actually matter to you, the things that are actually important for you to have to expand yourself in this incarnation, the things that really are important are still going to be important, and even more so. You're going to get even clearer on the things that actually matter, on the things that really you do need to change, on the things that really are a part of your journey this life. And again, the more you access that feeling of self-love, the more your motivation is going to be coming from this internal sense of like, this is just where I want to go, and this is what I want to do, and I have the purpose behind it is that it matters to me. And that's why you're doing it. It matters to me. Not because it'll make me good, not because it'll make me worthy, not because it'll make other people like me, but because this matters to me. This is something that matters to me. It helps you clarify. And then again, right, when we're walking a life towards the things that matter to us, that's how we feel purposeful in our lives at all times, even before we accomplish anything. When we're living a life where we feel connected to love, we already feel like we're good enough, we're worthy. We get a little clearer every day on what actually matters to us and what we were just doing to try to get love and approval. And we would get a little clearer on what we actually want when we are seeking love and approval. And then we start to move towards those things. Like we start to move towards actual real things. What we actually want, what actually matters to us, instead of what we were conditioned we had to do and be so that people would like us. Thinking that, again, that people liking us equals provision, equals safety. We know all this. So there's that. And then the second thing is that, again, we're starting to identify with this part of ourselves, these parts of ourselves that are capable, that are willing to figure it out, that are excited about the challenge, that are curious instead of afraid, that are willing to fall down and learn from it. The second prong of this adult perspective, being able to witness reality for how it really is starting to identify as the kind of person who's a growth kind of person, who's an expansion kind of person, who is a I can figure it out and I'm not going to get discouraged kind of person. And I know that might sound like, oh yeah, okay, so I just identify as this new thing. Of course. I know that sounds kind of like just stand on one leg. Isn't that easy for you? Right? Like, I understand that. But again, I'm going to say, the more that we're practicing this feeling of love, the more that we're practicing this feeling of love, the more we're going to start to see ourselves differently. And then the second thing is we want to understand the way that our neurology works, the way that our brains work, is that when we have decided something is true, that is when our brain goes about looking for all the evidence to support that idea. When we have decided that something is true, that's when the brain, right, the manager, the mind, the intellect, goes about saying, okay, well, this is what truth is, so let's look for all the evidence for how this is true. We want to take advantage of that and to say, okay, let's tell the mind, I am a good problem solver. I am the kind of person who can figure it out. I am the kind of person who can figure it out. And there is something very powerful about deciding to see ourselves this way and then looking for the evidence of how that is true versus saying, I am not going to believe this about myself until I see the evidence. Because that's what most people do. Most people are going to say, okay, you want me to believe that I'm a good problem solver and that I can figure things out and that I can be in my adult perspective and be good enough and be safe and people can reject me and I can be okay and all of these things. You want me to believe that. I'm not going to believe it till I see it. And then the problem with that is we're not coming into that with a neutral perspective, just looking for what reality is. When we say, I'm not going to believe that until I see it, what we really mean is, I don't believe that. I believe the opposite. I believe that people are going to reject me. I believe that I can't figure it out. I believe that I am incapable. I believe that every time I've tried, I've failed. And the mind has already collected all this evidence to support that. And then the mind is going to continue to look for the evidence to support that. So even if in real reality, there's all this evidence of how you're here, you've made it through challenges, you have absolutely figured things out before, I promise you, there's no possible way that you have arrived to this point in your life fucking it all up. Only getting where you've gotten because someone helped you, or because someone gave you a hand, or because someone gave you the answer. I promise you, there's no way that you've gotten to where you are right here, right now, today, having never figured anything out, having never done what you needed to do, having never faced the unknown and learning something and growing because of it. I guarantee you that's not reality. But for most people, we have figured out a way to discount every time we've been capable, every time we've figured it out, everything that we've done that would be evidence on the side that we can and we have and we will, even when it was hard and confusing and maybe we didn't do it perfect and it wasn't what we thought it was going to be, but we got here, we made it, we did it. We're not seeing that. We're not counting that. And we're only seeing the times where it didn't go how we thought it was going to go, where we didn't get what we wanted, where we couldn't do it, where it was hard, where we're stuck, where we're struggling. So we can't actually do that. We can't wait for the evidence before we're going to believe it, because we're not coming from a neutral place. We're not coming from a neutral place. We're not coming from looking for actual evidence to support how we might be capable. We're looking to confirm what we already believe, consciously or subconsciously. So this second step is about you starting to say, no, I'm going to consciously look every single day for how I was capable today. How I figured out a little thing today. How I got through a thing even though I still don't know what it is and I didn't figure it out yet or whatever, but I'm here and I'm still trying and I'm still showing up. Because that is the other huge part of being a person who can and does figure it out, is that you don't put a time limit on it. You believe that you are going to figure it out, and you believe that until you figure it out. For however long it takes, and no matter what has to happen, you are in it. Because it's when we have decided, I am the kind of person who is going to figure this out. I am the kind of person who's going to find whatever answer exists, that we will become the kind of people who get to the end of what we know and we try everything that we've tried, and then we're accessing that state of self-love and that state of unconditional love so much that we can say, okay, I've reached the end of what I know. I've done everything that I know to do over and over and over again. It's not working. This does not mean there's no answer. And this does not mean I should give up and that I can't. This means I have to see things in a way I've never seen them before. This means I have to relax into the unknown. This means I might have to expand my awareness of what I even think the answer is, where it's even going to come from. It means I might have to start to listen to that little voice that's been telling me an answer that I didn't want to hear, because I'm the kind of person who's willing to do that. Because that's what it's going to take for most of us to break our patterns and to break out of consensus reality and to see the things that are really important for us to see. We have to be willing to say, I've reached the end. I see nothing. It's void out there. And I'm going to go anyways. Because I am the kind of person who can figure it out. I'm the kind of person who's willing to see the hard things. I'm the kind of person who's willing to have my version of reality destabilized so that I can see what reality actually is. I am the kind of person who is capable of this challenging work. And I'm identifying more with the parts of myself that are growth orientated than I am with the parts of myself that are scared. Because we did the whole curriculum of loving the parts of ourselves that were scared, of seeing these parts of ourselves that were scared, of seeing our childhood trauma and loving and supporting and nurturing and comforting. And again, there will be times where we need to go back to that, where it's not about pushing and it's not about going forward and it's not about that. We just need to love ourselves safe and be where we are. And then sometimes in adult reality, we have to say, okay, but I'm not a child anymore. I am not a child anymore. I am not stuck like I used to be stuck. I am more capable than I've ever been. I am not dependent on the approval of people around me to move forward, right? And we're going to be the kind of people who say, I'm going to go ahead and I know I'm going to get rejected and I'm going to do it anyways because I got to figure it out. I know I'm going to do this thing and it's going to upset people and I'm going to do it anyways because I have to figure it out. Because what I'm in isn't working anymore, right? When we get to that place where our patterns are comfortable and familiar, but it's actually worth it to go ahead, the pain of staying where we are is worse than the pain of the unfamiliar growth. That's when we're ready to just say, okay, I'm going to identify with these adventure parts of myself. I'm going to identify with the capable parts of myself because they already exist. I promise you they already exist. They are there, but they need to be exercised and they need to be worked and they need to be given the opportunity to grow, which means we push ourselves, we fall, and we get back up. We keep going. We don't give up. We learn how to give up in the way that the way I was going about it isn't correct, right? So when I say we don't give up, I don't want us to misperceive this as I keep trying my way and I'm not going to give up until it works. No, we become intelligent enough that we say, okay, my way isn't working. I'm not going to give up the quest. I'm going to be humble enough to say my way isn't working. I will let that go. I will open up to the unknown, to the void, to the completely new way of looking at things, to the questioning my foundational understandings of what the problem is and where the solution and how the solution is going to come. And we keep going towards the goal, allowing the path to look however the path is going to look. We are adventurers now. So again, the second prong of like you starting right here, right now, today, to make it a daily practice to look for the evidence of how you are capable, how you have figured things out, how you are resilient, how you can upset people and still be okay, how you can go your own way and fall and still figure it out. You start to believe that you are this kind of person, and then you will find the evidence. You can't wait till you find the evidence and then start to believe it. You have to train your mind every day. I'm the kind of person who can do this. I'm the kind of person who's excited about growth. And you do it, again, not to be good, not to be a good student. You do it because you deserve that. You deserve to feel capable, and you deserve to have a life where you can grow. You deserve to have a life where you can fix things for yourself, where you can figure things out, where you can ask for help and get it. You deserve to have that. Period. End of story. That's why you do this work. Because you deserve that good life. You are the kind of person who can figure it out. You would not be here if you weren't. So now it's time to identify with that. You have access to unconditional love at all times. And you have access to a part of yourself that is excited about growth, that is excited about the unknown, that is ready to have your paradigms melted and shifted and changed. And you deserve to live from those places. And it's a practice. We practice identifying with this love, and we practice identifying as the kind of people who can and who will. And over time, it becomes your new identity, and then you live like that person, and you figure things out, because that is who you are. And again, it doesn't mean we figure everything out perfectly. It doesn't always mean that the power is in our hands to actually change the circumstances or any of these things. It doesn't mean we always feel capable and we never have sad days and we never have down times and we never have doubt and fear and all these things. That's normal. We know how to process that. We know how to witness that and be with that and see it and move through it and move with it, because it no longer means maybe I can't. When we identify as a person who can, when we have the down times and the fear and the emotions and the thoughts and the scary stories and all the things that come up when we're trying to see reality for how it is, that's no longer, see, I can't, and I'm not going to be able to. That's like, okay, that's normal. Of course that stuff comes up. That's part of the journey. And I still can. So I'm going to work through these things, because they no longer mean I am hopeless. They're just part of the growth journey. The scary stories, the big emotions that say I can't, all the like, oh no, that's just a part of it within the context that I know that I can. So I can love myself through the scary stories. I can love myself through the being down and doubtful and losing hope, and that stuff's gonna happen. And then when we're resilient, because overall, we know we can, and we will, and we keep going. And we let go of what we thought was going to work to open up to the new thing. These are the kinds of people we start to identify as. And we live like that, and it will be. Okay? So second prong. You are the kind of person who can figure it out. You are the kind of person who can love yourself through scary emotions. You are the kind of person who can access love whenever you want. You are the kind of person who can witness scary stories and love yourself and move forward anyways. You are the kind of person who can let go of what you thought it was going to be without letting go of the goal. You are the kind of person who can disappoint people and move forward anyways. You are the kind of person who can. Start to identify as that and see how it starts to change your life. Okay? See you in the next video.